Tell me the weather, I will tell the man. Thomas Hardy wrote, "This is the weather the cuckoo likes, and so do I." I also would say, so do I. I was in England in April, and therefore the BBC gave to my first talk, which was about the England scene. The title, Now That April There. I did not, however, find the season quite as Browning had described it, although I stayed on till the beginning of May. That year spring was late, the leaves less forward and the bird less busy. Nevertheless, I liked it immensely. This would seem unnatural to Englishmen and to my countrymen, both of whom are in their different ways confirmed grumblers about the English weather. Indian parents who send their children to England are as worried about it as English parents who had sons in India used to be about our snakes and tigers. So, when in my first letter to my family from England, which was 7 pages long and described the journey and the arrival in detail, there was no mention even of the weather. One of my sons wrote, "We were expecting something about the weather. I hope you will let us know whether it is too cold or not." But I hardly gave any thought to it, taking it for granted. In fact, I did not feel the cold at all. On the third day after my arrival, I was waiting for the bus at a stop opposite Hyde Park at about 9 in the morning. A cutting wind was blowing, and I had not taken my overcoat. An English lady who was there with her little daughter looked at me and cried out, shivering, "Oh, how bitterly cold it is!" Perhaps the topic being the weather, she did not mind addressing a stranger and a foreigner. "Is it?" I asked quietly. "You don't feel it?" She asked in she asked in her turn. And then she added, "But you have brought so much sunshine with you." That may have been the reason behind my insensitiveness, for it was not bravado. But my non-calent did not outlast the day. By the afternoon, I was nearly frozen and thought I should have to buy a bottle of cognac, of which I had seen some attractive brand in the windows. In my panic, I actually bought a bottle of cod liver oil, which of course I never took. In the end, I recuperated on coffee, and by time I went out again in the evening, I had not back my aplomb and warmth, although at the time I did not know that I was going to dine on both peacock and syllabub and drink mead and flagons of mulled claret.